apparently they are texting Jonathan now. You know, in fairness, he's like an hour ahead. He's in Florida. Oh, there he is. All right, good. Stand by. Don't shank it, Mandis. Don't shank it.
Don't shank it.
Yeah, make sure my audio's up.
Come on, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
You can do this.
Don't sing to Jonathan Cain. Don't sing to Jonathan Cain.
Or to anybody for that matter.
Shut up, John. 8:10 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Jonathan Cain, are you with us?
Yes, sir. How are you doing, Dan? Good morning.
Jonathan, I'm doing great and glad you could join us this morning for so many different reasons. Now, I don't know if you remember, but I've done a couple of different interviews with you. I'm such a fan. And I was just telling folks that, and I don't mean to make you feel old, but I was 13 years old when I discovered your music. And I kind of went backwards. Like my first album was Journey's Escape. And then I went back and I bought Evolution. I bought Infinity. And then, of course, everything that happened after that. And then I went back, because of you, I went back and I discovered the music of the Babies.
The Babies, yeah.
So I realized that we're going really deep.
We have an underwear commercial out, a Hanes commercial with Back on My Feet Again. It cracked me up.
Oh, that is so funny. Well,
really
but I don't want to talk to you about the past. I want to talk to you about what you're doing currently, because I got to tell you now, this song, which is called No One Else, and it is your tribute to Charlie Kirk. Now, it's not out yet. It's out later on this
24th.
month, on the 24th. Okay, good.
Yeah.
But, and I hope I'm not breaking any rules, but no. I'm gonna play a couple of snippets of the song. And I got to tell you that this morning when I was listening to this, and people that know me know that I'm an easy crier, but when I was watching the video, it's very touching, because the video, as folks know, and we're big fans of Charlie Kirk here, this is something, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, it has impacted us all. So the video begins actually with some Charlie Kirk audio. Listen to this, folks.
We as Christians are called to go into the public arena to correct error with truth. So I go to college campuses and there's a lot of error. We're all sinners. We are all live in error. I'm far more interested in what God wants of me than what I want from God.
Now, and then, of course, the song comes in. I'm going to play some snippets of that, too. But, I mean, Jonathan, that message right there, that Christians have a calling to go into the public arena and spread the truth and to correct error with truth, is such a powerful message. And so folks who have listened to me for a long time know that is what I stand for as well. Was it that reasoning why you ended up going into from rock and roll, and now you've got a very successful solo career, if you will, in Christian music? Was that part of your journey as well? Just no pun intended, but tell me a little bit about, number one, your admiration for Charlie Kirk, and is that the kind of sentiment that brought you into the world of Christian music?
Honestly, Charlie and my wife and I, we crossed paths many times. Of course, my wife is director of that White House Faith Office, right, Paula White Cain. So she works with President Trump. And so over the years, since 2015, when we were, sort of getting ready to help Mr. Trump become president, Charlie was at a lot of these meetings, and we became, very close. And he was very, very politically motivated to, it was a conservative on fire, and just trying to use the campuses to sort of, fire up the base, because he saw there was a lot of conservative kids that were frustrated with their convictions, and he sort of let the cat out of the bag going in the colleges and saying, okay, you got nutty professors, this is what the real deal is, right? And everybody went, right. And, sort of unlocked the youth that, helped drive the MAGA movement even, or the bro movement. We call it the bro movement, right? Mm-hmm. And Charlie was a big part of that, and then, he married Erica, and she led him to such a Christ-like, I would say awakening. He's from Chicago, my town, but every time I saw him, he would be telling us about something new he was doing. And, I remember at the convention center, in Cleveland, he had a sign, and he was holding a sign, "Big Government Sucks." And that was the first time I saw him. And he was getting interviewed by this TV guy. "Who are you?" And Paula and I were kind of laughing. And then we saw him over the years. Of course, he got to be really close with Don Jr. and, worked on Don Jr.'s staff. And then, of course, was one of the youngest guys to ever speak at the 2020 RNC when that COVID thing was going on. And then, I see him at Liberty University. And the last time I saw Charlie was 2 months ago, and he spoke at this fundraiser in Dallas. And he was just on fire, sharing his take on the younger generation and how crazy the ladies were mixed up and just unfulfilled. He said the young ladies in college just don't know why they're missing something. And he said it's the church's responsibility to get ladies to think about being married and having a family, and it just reminded me of my dad, but very old school values and yet very patriotic. And I think he brought the word patriot back to our society. I mean, him and Trump, he was so much like Mr. Trump in so many ways. Just absolute. I mean, I don't have a picture of Charlie because he was always running to the next gig.
Yeah. I want to play another soundbite from this song, No One Else, Jonathan Cain from Journey joining us, and your Charlie Kirk tribute song. I love this hook.
No one else reached generations, could heal with truth and conversation, setting all differences aside. No one else could question hate, turn hearts and minds with true debate. From the battle, our nation will arise. Faithful servant, you've done well, no one else.
I mean, Jonathan, I'm here to tell you, amazing. Will you talk about when you wrote this song, the experience of writing this song? What emotions did you go through? You, of course, knowing Charlie, how long did it take? Tell me all that.
Well, you know what really triggered it, the whole idea of this song was after Senator Cruz got on Fox and said he was irreplaceable, right? Charlie Kirk was irreplaceable. And I got goosebumps. And I thought, and I think God just gave me the idea that there's no one else, he was it, to do the job he was called to do. And he had, and so it was just so unique. And when I looked at the body of work, watching him get assassinated on TV was a process, and then you went from sadness to anger, and you're like, that's the end of free speech. Is that what happens with free speech on the campuses, And then you get depressed. You go, what is wrong with our country, And so what can I do? What can I do to make a statement about how much I appreciate in the core of my being what Charlie Kirk did for our country? And I had to do something, because I felt like, man, look at what he did. Look, he was like an apostle that sacrificed his life for the cause of patriotism and freedom and free speech and against. And I've always been against this groupthink, and ideology. I'm reading this book called Parasitic Mind, and it's wonderful, written by this neurologist, and he kind of frames it perfectly. What's wrong with our society, in so many ways, but we can't settle our differences with violence. And so I just felt like I had to do something. And that's me. I write songs. I get moved by events. I get moved. I pay attention to life. And when something like that happens, I wrote a song recently about the the terrible flood up in North Carolina called Amen to the Rescue, with all these Christians helping each other and digging out of the mud, from the disaster relief. So I have a disaster relief song. I write the songs that nobody's written because I can, and I do. And that's kind of my goal. I feel like a psalmist in a way, that God gives me a message. And, but Charlie's, his goal, I think he wasn't a pastor per se, but yet he pastored a nation of young people and brought them to consider Jesus, which is, are you kidding me? To have those pillars in his, and then also to take on all the social pressures and ills and, the sexual frustration that the kids have. And he got right into the hearts and minds of those kids and made them feel like it was okay to talk about it, Wow.
Jonathan Cain joining us. And Jonathan, let me ask you this. Your songs have always had, many, many traits, but one of them has always been hope. Don't Stop Believing, the song Escaping. I don't want to embarrass you with my knowledge of your songwriting, but where we are today in America, are you finding it a little more difficult to find that hope to put into your lyrics?
I think it's there. I think it's, so here's what it is. It's a desire to drive it, to put truth back into music, to put the biblical values that our country was founded on have to be proclaimed over and over again. And we have to turn to the truth and insert those ideas in the music so that they are, because when words fail, music prevails, right? Yep. And music will continue on. We'll always remember Bob Dylan. We'll always remember, John Lennon. Come on. His music lasts forever. And I think we, as writers, we have to write the truth. We have to, if the journalists aren't going to report the truth, then we certainly must write about it and must glorify it and chronicle it any way you can. And I wanted to leave something for Charlie's legacy that just says, hey, let's frame this and say what it is, because he really, I don't think anybody but Billy Graham has had a bigger effect, for the revival of the kingdom of God. Absolutely not. And I applaud Erica for bringing Charlie around to see the ways of Jesus. He always had it in him, I think, but her burning desire to walk in the way of Christ really rubbed off on him, and he understood that the path to truth and freedom really resides in the Lord, mm-hmm. And it starts with the Lord. And just like every great marriage, you have to have God in the middle. And that's what he understood and what he was teaching.
Your wife, you mentioned earlier, Jonathan Cain joining us. Your wife is President Trump's spiritual advisor, Paula White Cain, very famous. He has expanded her role, but talk about your own path from, this is how it's been described, rock and roll excess to a more grounded Christian artist. Is it difficult to play both roles as keyboardist in Journey and Christian solo artist? You've got, 8 Christian solo albums out?
Yeah, it's about 7. No, honestly, one feeds the other. Dan, here's how it goes. It's like, God gives you massive blessings and favor, and you write a song of hope that gets appreciated and gets heralded and gets multiplied. You know how the Bible talks about multiplying? Mm-hmm. Don't Stop Believing was a song that was multiplied by so many times, that a song that's almost 50 years old would go on to do that. And so, but where else does that come from? It only comes from the Lord. And how does a kid from Chicago that played the accordion end up in Steve Perry's living room writing it in the first place? I was in a band called The Babies, and we could barely pay the rent, how does that happen? And so there's a gratitude and appreciation for me that certainly that has to be the next step when you're able to bless people. And then I get these letters from people that were going to commit suicide, and they heard "Don't Stop Believing," and they thought better. And I've heard people that recovered, from sickness because they played "Don't Stop Believing" over and over again, and "Only the Young Can Say," and all these things. It's kind of like I've always been on the cusp of a sort of a pastoral rock experience. When I've blessed people, I've worked hard for Make-A-Wish Foundation and St. Jude's, and so if people want to come backstage and have me pray with them, I'll pray with them. I wear my Jesus on my sleeve. It's like, I'm a Christian. Too bad if you don't like it. I'm a conservative. But when Charlie was assassinated, that was when I said, gloves off. I'm coming out, and I'm going to do something. I saw Jay Feely, the field goal kicker. He's going to run for senator of Arizona because of Charlie.
Wow.
Because of what happened to Charlie. He just really lit a fire in me. And I just want to continue his movement any way I can, as I go down the road. And so I've been doing it with my wife. We've been doing amazing humanitarian things with, disaster relief and feeding. And all during COVID, we were feeding people, and got Mr. Trump to, move the capital to Jerusalem,
Oh, yeah.
all these cool things that, you just put it. He listens. He's a president that listens to smart people, and then he pulls the trigger. And I haven't seen anybody batting 1,000 like he is. He's just he's so funny. He makes me laugh, and at the same time, I'm in awe of his energy and his joy. He absolutely loves his job.
Yeah.
I got to have dinner with him once in the White House, right next to him, and all I could see was this guy that just loved his job. And he was so excited about how much money our country is going to make on the terrorists. He says, we're going to make billions, John. It's going to be great. But really excited about the changes that he could make, and that's all he wanted to do from the get-go, And so now we're seeing him in kind of double-time Trump here.
Yeah.
So
well, one of the things I will say is that you have said on Facebook that you're also dedicating the song "No One Else" to President Trump. You say, a leader who continues to stand for truth, freedom, and the values this nation was built on. Of course, ironically, the Last Journey album was called Freedom. I want to play one more soundbite from the song "No One Else," Jonathan Cain.
No one else moves in the spirit like you do. No one else can move our hearts to all that's true. No one else.
I mean, such a great song, and it's got all the, all of the things that we know about Jonathan Cain, from the soaring harmonies to, the piano, and just, very well done. And congratulations. This is going to stream October 24th. And how can people get it? I mean, it's going to be everywhere, I'm assuming.
It'll be on iTunes, and you can, it'll be on Spotify. And I'm thinking of putting a free sort of download on my website. Just drop your email or way we can get in touch with you, because I'm going to try to grow the ministry the next couple of years and do some things, and just continue on with the music that God gives me. I got an EP coming out. It's called "Only a Prayer Away," and that'll be out before I start on the next Journey tour. We actually are playing in Nashville, April 27th at Bridgestone.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I can almost guarantee you that I will be there April 27th. I know there is some scurrilous fake news out there that you are getting ready to retire and leave Journey, and I don't know if you've got 30 seconds to clarify.
No, that was kind of misinformation. What was really said in the article I did for Charisma was that I was going to do these next 2 tours and just kind of wrap it up, because I felt like I didn't want to die on the road, in my sleep at 80 years old, like John Lodge did with the Moody Blues. I was very disturbed when I saw that. But it just feels like a good time to, to enjoy my grandkids and my family. And I've given a lot. I've given enough. And I would never, ever duck out on my fans without saying goodbye, because I'm grateful for them. And I always plan on doing one last hurrah. So this is going to be it for me.
Okay, so I want to make sure I have this right. So this next tour is going to be your last with Journey.
Well, it'll be 2 years.
2 years.
There's 100. 2 years. So two different tours. It will be mine. Yeah, I don't know what Neil planned. I think Neil said he wants to go on and go on. And
listen, here's the deal, Jonathan. Anybody who is a fan of yours wants you to enjoy life, and because you have given such enjoyment back to us. And if you want to retire, if you want to focus on the ministry and Christian, then absolutely Christian music, absolutely follow your heart and follow your mind. And I'll be here for you whenever you want to do an interview. And, please, in Nashville, when you're here, look me up and we'll have you on.
Well, I sure appreciate it, Dan. You're amazing. And we need more stations like yours. Telling the truth. Continue to tell the truth in Jesus' name.
All right, man. Thank you, Jonathan, and appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon. Thank God I didn't sing Adam. Joan, I didn't sing Adam.
Congratulations,
aren't you proud of me?
Dan. I am very proud of you.
I did go about, how late am I? I'm about like 8 minutes late.
We're going to cut the news and go straight to commercials.
Okay. All right, so I guess I'm getting things thrown at me. So I'm going to do Zintex right here. But I thought that was a good interview.
It was terrific.
I didn't, so I I did shank one thing. I don't know if you picked up on that, Joan, but...
What'd you do?
Well, there's been a lot of conversation about whether or not he is actually retiring from the road.
Right.
So the latest I saw was that was fake news, that he was not retiring. And then he very nicely corrected me. He well-danned me and said, well, he is retiring. And I think when he said he's got 100, I think that was 100 shows. So we've got 2026, 2027. And these tours last for a couple of... it's a long time. April 20... Do you think they let me backstage at a Journey concert?
Well, that was a nice interview. I bet you could get backstage.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna
escort. Just in case you get a little
with an escort.
So they can escort you right out.
With an escort and security.